You may have heard the Christmas story before about the baby Jesus who was born in a stable and visited by shepherds and wise men. Well, the story doesn't end there. Jesus would do much more in his life. He had been born for a reason, and he was a very special person. When Jesus was about a month old, Mary and Joseph took him to a city called Jerusalem, where the Jewish temple was, because Mary and Joseph were Jews. Hundreds of years before this, Jesus had chosen the Jews to be his people, so they could show the world what God was like and what it meant to belong to him. God had given the Jews a temple, which was a special building where they could go to meet God in a special way. The temple showed the Jews that God was with them, looking after them. Even though the Jews were God's chosen people, they kept forgetting about God, turning their backs on him and ignoring him. This is what the Bible calls sin, and is a problem that everyone in the world has. Even though God had done so much for the Jews, looking after them and loving them, they kept turning away from him. However hard they tried, they couldn't get rid of their sin. But God had promised that he would send them a rescuer, someone that would get rid of their sin once and for all, so they could be friends with God again. When Mary and Joseph got to the temple, they met a man called Simeon. Simeon was also a Jew, one of God's chosen people, and he had been waiting a long time for God to send the rescuer he had promised. By now, the Jews had been waiting for hundreds of years for God to send his rescuer. Simeon wasn't hundreds of years old, but he had been waiting his whole life for God's rescuer to arrive. God's Holy Spirit told Simeon to go to the temple that day. When Simeon saw Jesus, he knew exactly who he was. This baby was the rescuer God had promised to send. Simeon took the baby Jesus into his arms and thanked God, saying, "Now, Lord, you can let me, your servant, die in peace, as you said. With my own eyes I have seen your salvation, which you prepared before all people. It is a light for the non-Jewish people to see, and an honor for your people, the Israelites." Mary and Joseph were amazed at what Simeon had said about Jesus. Simeon knew that Jesus was the rescuer God had promised to send to rescue his people. And what was even better, Jesus wasn't just a rescuer for the Jews, he was a rescuer for anyone in the whole world. Anyone in the world can be rescued by Jesus, get rid of their sin, and be friends with God again. This story is from the Bible, in Luke chapter 2, verse 25 to 32.